Multiple new laws come into effect this week. Temperatures continue to drop, and Halloween has inspired some spooky events. This is OU Nightly. Hello, thanks for joining us for OU Nightly. I'm Kolby Terrell.
And I'm Libbey Dean. We begin tonight with the bitter cold weather.
And Nash Rhodes joins us now. Nash, this is crazy. It's not even Halloween yet.
Yeah, that's right, guys. If you were out and about earlier today, you probably noticed that we did have that light rain that's really kind of lingered around the past several days or so, just sticking in our area. And that's been the case mixed with these cooler temperatures, making it feel absolutely terrible outside. Also, notice these strong winds from the north at about 22 miles per hour has made these temperatures feel much lower than this, where if you're outside in Oklahoma City right now, it might feel even closer to 20 or some odd degrees. Now, looking at the local live radar right now, further to the north near Woodward, seeing some light snow showers moving through. Not expecting much in terms of accumulation out of these showers, just a few flurries here or there. These are going to continue to move off to the east along with any remaining rain showers that we're seeing here in central and eastern Oklahoma and really set the stage for a mostly clear Halloween day. However, once it gets to the nighttime, temperatures will dip into the 30s, making it just brutal if you're trick-or-treating, paired with these very windy winds gusting to 20 miles per hour, dropping our feels-like temperatures into the 20s. Coming up, though, I'll have an hour-by-hour forecast on what you can expect if you're out trick-or-treating. Also, the future of how cold we're going to get coming right up.
Starting November 1st, more than 300 new laws go into effect in Oklahoma. OU Nightly's Abby Foster reports one law that affects parents of minors.
It actually will most likely help us.
With the passing of House Bill 2325 beginning November 1st, a minor may walk into a liquor store with a parent or legal guardian who is buying alcohol. One issue with allowing kids into a liquor store with a lot of glass is the potential of breaking bottles.
But most of the little kids are pretty good, and I think the mamas and daddies are going to they're going to be concerned about them coming in here and breaking something.
Parents of minors raised concerns about having to leave their children in the car while they went into the liquor store.
One of the things that kind of obstruction for us is exactly that the moms can't bring their kids in. And we really never understood that even before the State Question 792 went into effect last year.
And for those parents who are worried about their kids seeing something inappropriate,
there's nothing offensive in here. I don't have pornography and hand grenades and nonsense like that.
In addition to House Bill 2325, House Bill 2010 will allow people over the age of 21 to carry a gun without a license. Now for the University of Oklahoma, guns will still not be allowed on campus. Abby Foster, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Abby. Coming up in a few minutes, Taitum Wilson will have more information on the permitless carry law.
Have you been selected as a secret shopper? Maybe you have an unread message from HR, or maybe a fellow student reached out for financial help. Well, beware. OU Nightly's Shiloh Sellers explains these emails are trying to steal your online identity.
College students receive numerous emails a day, whether it's from your teacher or maybe an intramural team asking for players. With so many messages to shift through, students become prime targets for online criminals trying to steal your online information.
Likely he was phished in a previous campaign, submitted his credentials, his OU Net ID and his password into some site, and then they reuse that to do more phishing campaigns.
Once this happens, the culprit has access to the OU email database, allowing them to target other students. But OU IT does their best to filter out as much spam as possible.
In that particular case, I think we wound up deleting about 44,000 emails just from multiple senders.
While there are filters in place to reduce the amount of spam students get, they should still be vigilant when checking the validity of their emails.
So the best way to protect yourself from phishing and spam is always to validate the sender. Don't click on links that don't look like they're from ou.edu. Change your password regularly.
OUIT says that the best way for the campus as a whole to combat online attackers is through user education. Shiloh Sellers, OU Nightly.
If you believe you have been phished or have received a suspicious email, you can forward it to spam.ou.edu for assistance. And as the impeachment inquiry gains momentum, more people could be called upon to testify. Sofia Olivas has more in this news center.
You're exactly right, Kolby. One of those who could be called upon is U.S. diplomat Bill Taylor, who is willing to return to Capitol Hill to testify on quid pro quo. According to CNN, this could make Taylor a key witness for Democrats in the impeachment inquiry. While his testimony has not been formally requested, the House has invited former National Security Advisor John Bolton to testify next week. Tomorrow, the House will vote on rules for the inquiry, and as the public hearing approaches, witnesses could testify before the end of November. And former Exxon CEO and Secretary of State Rex Tillerson testified in a shareholder fraud case that accuses the oil giant of misleading its investors. The New York Attorney General says that ExxonMobil was not forthcoming with accurate financial data about the cost change of climate change regulations. Tillerson served as CEO during the period of alleged deception and says the company had no incentive to downplay the costs, but instead tried to accurately communicate the impact to its shareholders. This $1.6 billion suit is the first climate fraud suit to go to trial. And in Southern California, residents remain on edge as fires continue to blaze across the region. Wind gusts reach up to hurricane speeds and are adding fuel to the inferno. More flames erupted this morning in Simi Valley, where officials say that the fire has already engulfed more than 1,300 acres. A rare extreme flag warning has been issued to SoCal residents, warning them to stay alert. And the Federal Reserve cut interest rates by a 1/4 percentage point in an effort to boost the slowing economy. It happened to be the third cut of this year. Back to you, Kolby.
Thanks, Sophia. When you hear ghost stories, you think of Casper and scary movies, but you can experience them firsthand right here in Norman. The Downtown Norman Ghost Tours take you around Cleveland County and tell you some of the spookiest stories that have happened there. Jeff Provine, author of Haunted Norman, Oklahoma, leads the tours and likes to show the history behind these occurrences.
I think the real highlight is just hearing the history, because all the stories are from interviews and newspaper archives and like actual, this is stuff that happened here, and people get their connections and like, oh yeah, my dad used to know this guy and all this, and that's kind of cool, the community showing the side of it that we don't often get to see.
The next Downtown Norman tour is scheduled for Saturday, and they run March through November.
Last night, Norman North and Norman High came together to put on their 6th annual Spooktacular event. Nicole Nielsen has the story.
Door after door after door, everyone in the Norman community was invited inside Norman North High School last night to get out of the rain and enjoy some Halloween fun.
Our 3-year-old really wanted to trick or treat, and the weather isn't great, so this is a really good option.
The 6th annual Spooktacular event is sponsored by both Norman High Schools. Clubs and organizations from each sign up to decorate over 50 rooms. The event raises money for the school's DECA program, which each year decides where the money should go. This year, they chose the school's Special Olympics team.
Because they go to Special Olympics State every year, and we want to help fund their costs so they aren't spending a whole lot of money on that.
About 3,000 people were said to attend last night's event. Parents in the community say it's a great way to have some safe Halloween fun.
Walking up to a stranger's door, kids don't feel safe, but here it's a school, kids feel safe always in a school, at least my kids do.
Nicole Nielsen, OU Nightly.
That was a good start to Halloween festivities, and Kolby, there's more to come tomorrow night.
Crime seems to be on the rise, and local community leaders are doing what they can to help in a crisis.
A lot of people are running around on campus today, not because they're in a rush, but because they are freezing. Later on Nash Rhodes will break down the weather that is coming our way. November 1st each year is the date many new laws take effect in Oklahoma. OU Nightly's Taitum Wilson joins us now. Taitum, the big law everyone is talking about might not go as planned.
Well, actually, Libbey, Oklahoma District Judge Don Andrews just denied the injunction that would have stopped the permitless carry law from going into effect. It was a last-ditch effort by Representative Jason Lowe, who filed the lawsuit. He said it was unconstitutional because it violated a rule that laws have to be about one topic. But now that law will go into effect this Friday. And leaders from the city of Norman, Oklahoma Supreme Court, OU administrators, and law enforcement officers gathered Monday for a training in de-escalating divisive conflicts. With growing tensions associated with hate crimes and officer-involved shootings, Norman leaders did a training exercise to practice responding to civil unrest and crisis within the community.
Nationwide, there are instances that pop up all the time involving the impact of policing and government decisions in times of crisis or in times not of crisis, where that may have an adverse impact on certain community groups.
The training was conducted by the Bridge Initiative, which is a program out of the U.S. Department of Justice in partnership with Ohio State University. OU Vice President of Student Affairs and Dean of Students David Surratt was at the training, as well as Interim Vice President of Diversity and Inclusion Jane Arungu.
And I think the diversity and the input and voice that university students and faculty give to a community provides a different spin than what you get from, for example, a major city.
The session also included leaders from Moore and Cleveland County. There was also a session in Midwest City for leaders from Edmond, Midwest City, and Oklahoma City. And guys, today Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey said they're banning political ads. He announced it today, surprise, surprise, on Twitter. He said it's because he thinks that political messages and their reach should be earned instead of bought.
That's going to make a big difference when I'm scrolling through all of my social media. I always see it on Twitter and Facebook, and now I'm not going to.
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely going to be a change. I don't know, some people might like it, some might not.
I might too. We'll see.
Thanks, Taitum. Libby, it's pretty hard for me to find a parking spot at OU on game days.
Yeah, Kolby, more and more people seem to be having the same problem, but now there's a way to fix that when we return.
And Nash Rhodes has the weather forecast for trick-or-treaters tomorrow. Nash?
That's right, guys. The temperature just seems to keep dropping and dropping, but good news on the way. Let's just see how quickly it gets here. Coming right up. Welcome back to OU Nightly. Here's a live look at downtown Oklahoma City on this very dreary Wednesday afternoon. Cloud cover continuing to cover downtown OKC, but the big story is this temperature, 34 degrees under mostly cloudy skies with winds from the north at about 22 miles per hour, making it feel much cooler than this temperature right here. And that's really how it feels across all of central Oklahoma. We are in the 30s across the board. Off to the northwest, though, notice Woodward and Guyman just dipping into the 20s. Now, to give you an idea of how cold these winds are making the temperatures feel, here's the feels like temperatures across the metro right now. OKC at 24 degrees, Norman all the way down to 23, and look at that, El Reno 21 degree feels like temperatures, the coolest of the bunch right now. And those feels like temps are going to feel more like the actual lows tonight, as 24s are low in Oklahoma City, 25 here in Norman, with those winds a little bit lighter but still about 10 to 15 miles per hour from the north. Now, surprise, surprise, because our temperatures are dipping just so low, we do have some freeze warnings in effect stretching all the way from Lawton up to Miami. This does include Norman and Oklahoma City, so just something to keep an eye out for. Meanwhile, further to our northwest, we have a winter weather advisory in effect for these light snow showers and a little bit of sleet right here appearing on radar off to our northwest. Now, these snow showers are going to continue to blow over parts of Enid, maybe just northern Oklahoma City getting in on a few flurries here or there, but not expecting much in terms of accumulation from these snow showers. However, a few showers over here could dump a little bit of freezing rain near the Tulsa and Muskogee area. But once this completely leaves our hair this evening into the overnight hours tonight, tomorrow we're looking at mostly clear skies as we drop all the way down into the lower 40s by 6 p.m. But once that sun sets, we'll be all the way down into the 30s for the trick-or-treat forecast. So if you're heading out the door, maybe want to take the kids out trick-or-treating, keep in mind these winds paired with these temperatures are going to make it feel like almost the 20s outside for many of our communities across the state. Now, looking at that 7-day forecast, good news, we will slowly warm up, and when I mean warm up, I mean by only a few degrees here or there before we slowly climb to the upper 50s into the weekend. And guys, looking at Monday, 64 degrees for a high. That's more like it. That's what I'm used to for this time of year.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with that. Are you planning on trick-or-treating, Nash, in this cold weather? I don't know.
I'll be bundled up inside. Yeah, no, not for me.
Well, thanks, Nash. Parking on game days can be a difficult situation. Students who commute to campus are now facing a new obstacle when it comes to parking. Tailgaters have been using cones and chairs to save their party space. However, OU Parking says this is something that is not allowed during game days.
What I would encourage you to do is tell them that, you know, if they have a cone or something in a parking space, that they can't save that because it's not a lot that's regulated. It's not their space. If you have a parking permit, you're absolutely allowed to park there.
OU Parking Services encourages you to contact them on game day if you run into this issue. And it's looking like our boy Baker Mayfield got a little heated with the media today.
Natalie Ball is here to give us the latest in sports. Natalie.
Baker Mayfield's frustration with how the Browns are playing this season is becoming apparent, and the Nats and the Astros had their craziest game yet. We'll be right back with sports. Welcome back to OU Nightly. I'm Natalie Brown, and it's time for sports. The two greatest words in sports, Game 7. Tonight, this insane World Series between the Astros and Nationals is the first ever to have the visitors win the first 6 games. Now it all comes down to this. Last night was the craziest game so far in the series. The Nats scored first with an RBI single, but the Stros answered with a sac fly followed by a home run from third baseman Alex Bregman, who carried his bat all the way to first base. For 4 more innings, it looked as if the Astros were taking it back up until the 5th inning when the Nats' Juan Soto returned the favor to Bregman. The 21-year-old took his bat all the way to first, too. Then, after a really wild interference call at first base, Anthony Rendon put this one away for Washington. A 2-run homer that clinched the 7-2 win for Steven Strasburg and a series all tied up at 3-3. A change in the NCAA is finally in the works. The NCAA's top decision makers voted unanimously last night to begin the process of modifying its rule to allow college athletes to profit from their names, images, and likenesses. And head coach Lincoln Riley shared what he thinks about this future change.
It'll be interesting, in that way it'll be a little bit more like the pros, in some way. And so, no, it'll be interesting if they try to make it uniform for all players, or if it's, based on your notoriety. I mean, there's a lot of stuff a lot of people got to work through, and I'm glad I don't have to do it.
The Oklahoma men's basketball team started off its season last night with an exhibition game against Southeastern Oklahoma State. The Sooners won 89-79 with the help of junior Brady Manick, who led all scorers with 23 points and 8 rebounds. And what made Manick's performance even more meaningful was his brother playing on the other side of the court.
That was pretty cool. I mean, they're a really good team, and just having him on that good team and just having that level of competition that we had out there, it was a lot of fun. I think it was really good for our family and our friends.
Earlier today, Baker Mayfield got into it with a reporter after being asked if the Browns lacked urgency on a possession during Sunday night's game. The heated exchange resulted in Mayfield abruptly walking out of his media availability.
You don't play, you don't know it. It's just plain and simple.
Were you happy with that drive?
Was I happy with the drive? No, we didn't score points. It's the dumbest question you could ask. What?
And finally, this dancing hurricane video has gone viral. Check out Jalar Hawley on the sidelines against Pitt last Saturday.
They're going to call that one the Jalar Hawley.
He has some moves.
Well, thank you, Natalie. A Halloween classic is taking center stage today before the Candy Storm tomorrow. Up next on OU Nightly.
Welcome back. I'm Scott Haas at the OU Nightly Update Desk. Another White House official is reportedly stepping down. According to NPR, Tim Morrison, the president's top advisor on the National Security Council for Europe and Russia, is expected to leave imminently. Morrison was recently implicated within the Ukraine controversy and is expected to testify tomorrow. Also just in, former Texas Rangers outfielder Josh Hamilton was arrested today and is accused of injury to a child. Kolby?
Thank you, Scott. Thursday, candy will take center stage as little ghosts and goblins head out door to door to collect treats and not tricks.
But that doesn't mean a Halloween classic can't get some attention a little early. Wednesday is all about the candy corn. The sugary goodie looks like a yellow, orange, and white horn.
Love it or hate it, it often leaves connoisseurs torn. But after over 100 years, there is no denying the candy corn.
Well, Nash, the weather has been pretty chilly here.
Yeah, well, it's been chilly here and very cool. It's the complete opposite in Southern California right now, as it is very warm and very dry. When you get very warm and dry conditions mixed with some record-breaking winds, as strong as hurricane-force winds, you get multiple fires, and that's what they're battling right now. We had the first ever extreme red flag warning for much of LA. This was issued today, and it's just a situation we're just going to continue to watch over the next 24 hours or so.
Well, I hope everything goes clearer over there than right now. Thank you for watching OU Nightly. I'm Libbey Dean.
Brought to you by Gaylord College at the University of Oklahoma. We'll see you back here tomorrow night live at 4:30.
Have a happy Halloween.
Good night.
I was not listening.